2 minutes left.
Guys, time is up. Will you please stop cooking and step away from your workstations?
Okay, Nick, bring up your dish.
Nick has cooked a contemporary take on Irish stew with herb-crusted loin of Connemara Hill lamb, celeriac puree and a Kilcannon dauphinoise.
A lot going on in the dish, a lot of work. So I was very interested to see how you get on. The problem I do have more than anything is the Irish stew. If you're going to call it a stew, it can't be dry, it needs moisture. So if we're going to call it Irish stew, it still needs to be soupy to some degree. Do you know what I mean?
I think you should have concentrated on the flavour and then figure out the artwork afterwards. Thanks, Nick.
It wasn't perfect, so I've got every chance of going home. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how I worked, and I worked pretty much from the first second to the last minute, so no regrets.
Nessa, would you like to come up, please?
Nessa has chosen to update the traditional full Irish breakfast, making a bacon and egg custard with black pudding crumb, crispy sausage and tomato sauce.
I knew there was a problem with the custard and turning it out, so yeah, I mean, I did my best with what I had, but it wasn't quite what I imagined when I started out.
It's actually not a bad idea, I have to say. Because when you were explaining it to me, I was a bit confused, really, how it was going to sort of turn out. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
It's kind of an intriguing little dish because, forgive me, but it looks terrible. But it eats well. And the reason that it eats well, it actually does have every bit of familiarity of a fry. It's all of those flavours in your mouth.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How was it?
Kind of okay, I suppose, like.
There's nothing I regret about the last hour and a half. I did that dish to the best of my ability. So if it's not good enough, it's because other people are better than me, and that's it.
Charlie hopes his Carrageen moss pudding with Irish coffee sauce, coffee bean tuile and crumble sand will earn him a place in the next stage.
Happy, Charlie?
I am happy, yeah.
Okay. When I tasted the panna cotta, I was worried if it was a little bit bland, but eating it together, it works very well, because this is quite sweet and the coffee's a lovely dimension. I think the tuile is lovely. It's a very accomplished dessert.
Yeah, what I like about this dish is that you've kept it simple. Well done.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
So getting positive comments about something, you know, that's the best part of the competition. I sit now and hope that I did do enough.
Idel, if you'd like to come up, please.
I did as well as I could, I think, in the time, so it's just up to Nick and Dylan whether they like it enough.
Idell's put a new twist on tea and tart, making an apple tartlet, caramelised apple, tea and whiskey infused ice cream, white chocolate shavings and a cream liqueur.
You happy?
Reasonably happy, yeah.
It's not that colourful.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
colourful
all-
plates to lift up and look at me and go, eat me.
Yeah.
I think there's too many nuts.
It's all a bit brown, yeah.
A larger shade of beige.
The dish does balance. I just think it's a little high in tea.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be as intense as that. Yeah, I think you should use less tea in the infusion, and I think you've got a real good dish there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Adele.
They seem to like the flavour of it. Ish.
Okay, Hugh, bring up your dish.
I didn't actually get the apple sorbet on the plate, which was one of the components that I had specified. I might be in a bit of trouble.
The things that did make the plate are deconstructed apple crumble and custard with roasted oatmeal ice cream and apple compote.
There's a couple of things not on the plate. There should have been a little Granny Smith sorbet there, which I didn't get finished. So what I did was I actually adjusted the mousse inside this to carry a bit more acidity, which was sort of replacing that.
Now this is the ice cream.
Roasted oatmeal ice cream.
Right. How do I say it? I think with the different elements, I don't know if it's because you're missing elements. I have a problem a lot of the time with these deconstructed concepts. Because often when they're deconstructed, they become something else. And I don't think that this is apple crumble as such. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't remind me of it.
But it's not meant to replicate traditional apple crumble.
Okay, but that is something else. The sorbet is missing, so it needs more apple. Doesn't it? Yeah. So you lack apple. What you said you were about to cook is not what's in front of us, so that's my observation.
Sure.
The brief was something Irish, and this is something else.
My opinion is there's actually quite a long list of ingredients.
There's a lot of processes.
A lot of processes, yeah. And then I was thinking, I actually just want you to be simpler. And I just wish you'd just let yourself go and just cook something really decent that tastes amazing.
Thanks.
Thanks, you.
I've overreached on the dish, and it might be a case if I get through, it's just to completely reassess the way that I'm looking at the competition. I could be going home, I think.
Sonia, if you'd like to come up, please.
Continuing the deconstructed theme, Sonia has cooked a Dublin coddle with venison sausage.
I was happy enough with it. I thought the flavours were good.
You happy with it?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like the idea that you've taken the classic dish and you've sort of put your twist on it with the venison sausage. I love tripe. But it's lacking a bit of soul, a bit of seasoning. The venison sausage is okay, but for me to be able to cut into that, I would get quite bored with it. I mean, it is what you've said it is.
They need to be better than the original. That's the whole point, is to taking it from something that's so humble and then bringing it to a new stage. I get the venison, I think the tripe, I think it's all good technique, but overall, it doesn't do it for me.
Thank you.
Of course, I'm a little bit disappointed, but we'll just wait and see.
Nick and Dylan, I respect those two guys tremendously. You know, they wouldn't be where they are now if they didn't know what they were talking about.
Rich's dish is roast rack of lamb served with bacon, cabbage and chorizo tartlet, champ, carrots and a red wine and rosemary reduction.
Carrots were going to be honey glazed, did you say?
Yeah, I didn't have time to finish those in the end, so I just boiled them for a little bit.
The lamb is cooked beautifully, and then you poured all of that really heavy split red wine sauce over the top of it. The sauce actually ruins it. That a sauce will make or break a dish.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's broken it.
Yeah, sure.
It's just, I can't explain it without being harsh. Like, the reality is that is just a boiled carrot.
Yeah.
It tastes like a carrot.
Yeah.
There's no love and attention to that.
No, I just ran out of time at the end.
It's just boiled carrots.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Thanks, Rich.
No bother. I'm feeling a bit gutted. You know, I've had a bad day at the office, and it's not indicative of my level of cooking. It's really frustrating.
Mark, if you're ready, please.
I'm not feeling too confident. Just faltered on the cooking of the rabbit loin. It was too much under for them to eat, so you're down a few points there straight away. But I just have to hope they see something in me for the future and, you know, see a bit of potential, and that's what keeps me in.
The last of today's dishes is Mark's rabbit's leg braised in cider, bacon-wrapped loin, carrot puree and leeks.
How you feeling?
Not too happy with it.
Okay, tell me, talk us through it.
Obvious problem is the rabbit loin being undercooked. It's one of the the key components of the dish, so
Shame.
that's very disappointing.
Yep, it is a shame about the loin. It's undercooked. Your leg is nice. It could have done more of the juices, make more of the sauce.
It does dry out.
It does dry out. But nevertheless, there is something in you. You do have some ability there, some knowledge. And I think you love being in the kitchen, and you're a keen cook. So I think you're like a SpongeBob. You can absorb all that information.
Yeah.
And I think that is a good thing to have.
It's unfortunate about the loin, because it's really held the dish back. So I can only eat half of it. Okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Getting criticism like that at this stage of the competition is hard to take, because you know that any mistakes now, it means you could be gone.
Well, Dylan, it wasn't really what we were expecting.
I think that their ideas were good. I think that everybody came to the table and tried to put their twist on something. Once they started cooking is when we ran into problems.
Basically, today we just saw the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think.
Everyone made mistakes today. Nobody's exempt.
We're going to have to choose 2 out of the 8. I think, knowing you by now, I think I know who your 2 are.
Yeah. Some of the dishes that you gave us today surprised us, and some disappointed us. You are all still learning the different elements that are needed to make a great dish.
Today, we had to decide who we feel deserves to continue in the competition.
The first person to leave the Masterchef kitchen is... Rich. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
Cheers.
Yeah, it's devastating, really, It feels a bit unjust, for me, knowing what I'm capable of.
The next person to leave us is... Sonia. Thanks, Sonia.
Thanks, Sonia.
When I realised I was staying in there, I was pretty emotional, to be honest, and I didn't realise how much it meant to me until I realised that I was staying in the competition. Very emotional. As emotional as you'll see Dairyman, I suppose.
It was a very tiring journey. It was great. I had a lot of fun. Life goes on.
I wanted to learn from the guys that can really teach me in the best possible way. I love food, that's why I'm here. And it's always been a massive part of my life, and it will be.
Yeah, very disappointed to leave, but the journey's over.